latest news in North Central Washington, go to ncwlife.com or find us on Facebook. Got a news tip? Email us at news@ncwlife.com or call 888-2020.
Good Tuesday evening and welcome to the NCW Life Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside our weather window, and I'm telling you, I don't think anybody's complaining about our weather today. Just a perfect early summer day. In fact, we were below normal temperature-wise today, with highs only in the middle 70s for most of us here in North Central Washington. Our normal high right now is 81 degrees, but look at that beautiful shot from our cross camera, our PTZ Sky-Fi tower camera looking down at the Columbia River and of course East Wenatchee, Wenatchee on the left side of your screen. What a beautiful day out there with lighter winds, and that was a relief. And we can expect more of the same really throughout the rest of this week. We will see some windy spots, mainly in the Cascades, but no major storm systems are expected. We expect dry conditions, lots of sun here in North Central Washington, with temperatures very mild into the upper 70s. We will have your complete weather forecast coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. The windstorm that lashed across the region early Monday morning caused a lot of damage, but no reported injuries at Alta Lake State Park. The Washington Department of Ecology has finalized a shoreline management plan for the state's largest county, Okanagan. Chelan County Commissioners say they're getting closer to finalizing a plan for the future management of the Icicle Creek watershed. And the Lake Chelan Trails Alliance is partnering up with Chelan County PUD to expand the hiking trails above the Chelan River. But first, we begin tonight. It's been 3 years since the Sleepy Hollow fire ripped a devastating path through the Wenatchee community, destroying 30 foothill homes and several warehouse buildings. Yesterday in Chelan County Superior Court, the 39-year-old defendant in the case, Jeremy Kendall, stated to the court that he intended to plead guilty after it was ruled that he was mentally competent to stand trial. The court set a status hearing for July 2nd so Kendall's defense attorney could be present. Trial dates have also been set for Kendall, a readiness hearing on July 23rd, and a final trial date for August 7th. Well, a resolution has also been reached in the case of Edward James Salvador. He's one of 5 suspects charged in an identity fraud conspiracy that allegedly stole mail around the Wenatchee Valley. Salvador allegedly opened fraudulent credit accounts at local stores, created and used false ID cards, and defrauded merchants by returning stolen goods for cash. He's been charged with 17 counts of unlawful fictitious identification, 12 counts of identity theft in the second degree, 6 counts of possessing stolen property, and 5 counts of forgery. Even though a resolution was reached in Salvador's case yesterday, a plea wasn't entered, so a change of plea and sentencing hearing has been set for July 2nd. Well, the windstorm that lashed across the region early Monday morning caused a lot of damage, but no reported injuries at Alta Lake State Park. These images were shared on Alta Lake View HOA's Facebook page. The winds downed several trees, smashing into at least 2 vehicles. An RV was also damaged in that storm. The Washington Department of Ecology has finalized a shoreline management plan for the state's largest county, Okanagan. The long-awaited update on how shorelines will be regulated in Okanagan County was approved by the Department of Ecology yesterday. Shorelines in Okanagan County provide prime habitat for a multitude of species and support many land uses. Okanagan County's Shoreline Master Program will improve the use, management, and restoration of shorelines along the Chewach, Methow, Okanagan, Similkameen, and Twisp rivers, and also for Lakes Pateros, Osoyoos, and Palmer. Ecology's approval completes an 11-year process that involved hundreds of people, including property owners, a science advisory panel, nonprofit organizations, tribal governments, and state and local government staff. Chelan County Commissioners say they're getting closer to finalizing a plan for the future management of the Icicle Creek watershed. The county and the State Department of Ecology co-convened a working group in 2012 to find collaborative solutions for water management within the Icicle Creek watershed. The Icicle Working Group, or WC, is made up of a diverse set of stakeholders representing local, state, and federal agencies, tribes, irrigation, and agricultural interests, as well as environmental organizations. Commissioner Keith Gaynor says the group met in Seattle yesterday for a public hearing on the plan's environmental impact study.
Really what we're trying to do is better utilize the water resource that we have in the reservoirs that Icicle Irrigation has managed for about 90 years now. And trying to balance that with the hiking, the wilderness experience, I mean that's the whole point of the process. And I think last night was a good meeting. People they seemed to get their questions answered. The first few times we went to Seattle, there was a lot of unknowns, and I think last night they were kind of drilling down to some of the core issues, and I think their questions were answered in a way that they understood what was going on. And I'm not saying that everybody is excited about anything happening, but it's difficult when you have a 5.5-year process, which has been a very collaborative process, to try and encapsulate that in an evening. But I think Mike did a great job for us last time.
Commissioners are set to hold their own public hearing on the Icicle Management Plan's EIS. It's scheduled to start at 4 p.m. Wednesday at the Leavenworth Fest Hall. Well, the Lake Chelan Trails Alliance is partnering up with Chelan County PUD to expand the hiking trails above the Chelan River. Alliance members and volunteers will raise funds and provide volunteer labor to build and maintain the trail, which will extend southeast from the PUD's existing Reach 1 trail. The City of Chelan has agreed to monitor trail maintenance and provide liability coverage for trail use. Trail Alliance volunteers will install signs and maintain the trail at the city's direction. The conditional use permit will be similar to the recreation agreement with the City of Wenatchee for trails on PUD land in the Western Foothills. That explained by Jeff Smith, District Services Managing Director. Well, coming up next, the U.S. Supreme Court has ordered the Washington State Supreme Court to take a new look at the case of a florist from Richland. The Wenatchee metropolitan area recorded the lowest unemployment rate in May since 1990, the year records were implemented, and Wenatchee School Board members will start the process of searching for a new superintendent when they meet Thursday afternoon. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCW Life Evening News.
With 15,000 square feet to explore, you'll find something special at the Antique Mall at Cashmere. For the do-it-yourselfers and those with a keen eye for making something old fresh and new again, the Antique Mall at Cashmere is the place to come find your next project. From the coin enthusiasts to avid collectors, Antique Mall at Cashmere has treasures in every corner. Come find your treasure today. Antique Mall at Cashmere's friendly staff is here to help. Stop on by today.
J&J Snack Foods makes a lot of dough-filled products. It's really hard to attract labor in this area. We've reached out to Goodwill, and Goodwill came through to help us get that achieved. John started here at the plant a couple of months ago. We promoted him to a dough maker. He's doing well.
I'm actually doing great. I'm finally getting more notice and appreciated for my work here. I love the products we make here.
If you're struggling finding the labor that you need, reach out to Goodwill. Goodwill, there's more behind the store.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
Mm-hmm. It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging and Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation.
Welcome back. In another news, the U.S. Supreme Court has ordered the Washington State Supreme Court to take a new look at the case of a florist from Richland who refused to provide flowers for a same-sex wedding. The justices declined to hear the Arlene's Flowers case, themselves a few weeks after issuing a narrow ruling in a similar case involving a Colorado bakery. The High Court ordered the state court to throw out its previous ruling and revisit the case in light of the Colorado wedding cake ruling. Last year, Washington state justices ruled unanimously that the flower shop owner, Baronelle Stutzman, illegally discriminated when she declined for religious reasons to provide flower arrangements for the wedding of two local men. The reconsideration of the Arlene's Flower case by the state Supreme Court is likely to revolve around the issue of whether Washington's government showed bias against religious beliefs as it enforced its anti-discrimination law that protects LGBTQ people. Well, the Wenatchee metropolitan area recorded the lowest unemployment rate in May since 1990, the year records were implemented. That from the Washington State Employment Security Department in its report released today. In May of 2018, the unemployment rate for the Wenatchee area was 4.9% compared to 5.3% in the same time last year. There were 426 more residents in the Wenatchee labor force this May than in May of 2017, while the number of unemployed dropped by 195. That's down 5.9%. Meanwhile, non-farm industry employment is also soaring in the valley, with the number of non-farm payroll jobs up 4.2% at just under 47,000. The Wenatchee Metropolitan Statistical Area is comprised of Chelan and Douglas counties. Wenatchee School Board members will start the process of searching for a new superintendent when they meet Thursday afternoon. The board will be attending a workshop facilitated by former NCW ESD Superintendent Dr. Gene Sherratt about the Wenatchee School District Superintendent search starting at 2 p.m. It'll be at the district office on Sunset Avenue. Brian Flonis announced recently his plans to step down from the position he's held for 19 years. His contract will expire at the end of August next year. Well, I-90 was shut down for almost 3 hours yesterday following a 3-vehicle crash about 10 miles west of Ellensburg. It happened when a truck blew a tire, then crashed into a guardrail, dragging a large section of that guardrail into the roadway. A passenger car and a second large truck that were following behind them struck the broken guardrail. The driver of the first truck was the only person injured. That cause is under investigation. You're watching the NCW Life Evening News. Coming up next, your sports update with Eric Granstrom and our feature story tonight. That and much more still to come on the NCW Life Evening News. Stay with us.
In our experience, some people are just cut out for charter college and for success in a new career. These charter types are hard workers. Charter types go above and beyond. And charter types are responsible. If you're ready to get to work making a better future for yourself, you're just our type. Charter College. We work to get you to work.
Todd's a great boss. Sometimes he can be a little intense.
Adam, how about a lunchtime run?
I'd love to, Todd, but I got a lot. Oh, Mr. Jones, you made it. I'm glad you could make it. You're really gonna love our lifetime warranty on all new Hondas. Let's walk and talk.
Oh, the running thing? It gets him hustling. I consider myself a great motivator.
Oh, hey Nate, what you doing there?
I'm just reading a book.
A book? I didn't even know they made those anymore. Where'd you get it?
Right down the street at Yield Bookshop.
Yield Bookshop? I'm gonna go check it out.
If you're looking for a good book to read or you're in the market for some beautiful handcrafted creations from local artisans, look no further than Yield Bookshop right in the heart of downtown Wenatchee.
And now it's a sports update on the NCW Life channel.
And a happy Tuesday to you. Our good friend Arch Ecker, voice of the Wenatchee Wild, tells us that 2 Wild players have been selected in the NHL draft. According to Ecker, second-year defenseman Slava Danman, whom you see here, was actually that's Jasper Weatherby. Well, Demon was picked in the 4th round of the 2018 NHL entry draft last weekend by the Vegas Golden Knights, and San Jose Sharks moved up to select for Jasper Weatherby. Also in the 4th round, Demon and Weatherby become the 5th and 6th players in Wenatchee Wild history to be drafted by an NHL team. Demon and Weatherby are alongside Wild alums Troy Loggins and Blake Christensen, as well as former teammates Murphy Stratton, Cooper Zek, and Matt Baker at various NHL development camps. Now, speaking of the Wenatchee Wild, hard to believe it, but the 2018-19 version of the team is expected to report for the upcoming season in just 65 days. Well, the Wenatchee Apple Sox welcome the Bend Elks to town tonight for the first of 3 games at Paul Thomas Senior Field. Wenatchee comes in with a 7-10 record, while the Elks are 5-16. Probable starters for tonight: R.J. Robles for Bend and Steen Fredrickson for the Apple Sox. Robles 0-3 so far this summer, while Fredrickson is 0-2 with a 4.65 earned run average. Both teams are occupying the cellar of their respective divisions in the West Coast League, but never fear, Wenatchee fans. That's why they break it up into 2 parts. This is just the first half. There was only 1 game last night in West Coast League play as we open up the Les Schwab scoreboard. Jack Smith's RBI, or make that sacrifice fly RBI, and the top of the 11th scored Michael Malinchak, and the Victoria Harbor Cats edged the Walla Walla Sweet 7-6. At Burlesque Stadium last night, Victoria's win edged them a half game closer to first place Bellingham. In the West Coast League's North Division, Kelowna remains 4.5 games back at 9-9. Port Angeles is in 4th place, followed by Yakima Valley and Wenatchee. Also on the schedule tonight, besides Wenatchee and Bend, it's Portland at Corvallis, Yakima Valley hosting Cowlitz, Victoria at Walla Walla, and Kelowna hosting Port Angeles. Bellingham has a non-league game tonight at Joe Martin Field against the Seattle Wallbangers. I don't know if they're having drinks all around or what. The Seattle Mariners took advantage of some poor pitching by Baltimore and good pitching by Felix Hernandez to down the Orioles on Monday, 5-3 the final. Baltimore pitchers issued 10 walks, a wild pitch, and a balk in Monday's game at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Meanwhile, Hernandez went 6 innings, allowing 3 runs on 4 hits and 4 strikeouts. James Pazos held the lead in the 7th. Alex Colomé held the lead in the 8th and turned it all over to Edwin Diaz to close out the 9th for his league-leading 28th save. Manager Scott Service said he would have liked to see a few more runs pushed across, but was happy to see how the bullpen reacted after it's been kind of a shaky road trip so far.
We had a lot of traffic tonight. We had an opportunity to score a few more runs. They made some big pitches when we had guys in scoring position and didn't maybe put up as many as we should have. But we'll take it. For me, outstanding night by our bullpen. Our bullpen has struggled a little bit on this trip, and the guys were sharp tonight. Pazos was on, Colomé outstanding tonight, and Eddie Diaz continues to be really good.
Denard Span helped the cause offensively, going 2 for 5 with a 2-out home run in the 6th to tie the game at 3. Service cannot say enough about the difference he's made since joining the Mariners in a trade from Tampa Bay.
Denard is really an accomplished hitter in the fact that he's got so much experience, and I think a lot of our guys are learning watching him. And I think we've tried to learn a little bit more at times that those at bats that he has, he really grinds out and finds a pitch to hit, and if it's down in the zone and he puts a good swing on it. It was a big home run in the game. They're starting to come back 2-1, we get to 3-1, and then add on from there. So it's been a great addition to our team.
Seattle and Baltimore are at it again tonight. James Paxton on the mound for Seattle against the O's' Kevin Gausman. On the Les Schwab scoreboard of the American League West last night, we'll look at that real quick. Jed Lowry's homer in the top of the 9th completed a 5-run spurt in the final 3 innings to lift Oakland past Detroit 5-4. Kansas City rookie Brad Keller and 3 relievers pitched a 3-hit shutout to the Halos last night, 2-0. The Rangers rallied with a 5-run 6 to top San Diego 7-4. Curtis Granderson hit 2 home runs off Justin Verlander, and Toronto helped the Mariners' cause by knocking off Houston 6-3. That's Sports News. I'm Eric Granstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you, Eric. Nearly 200 children in Chelan and Douglas counties find themselves in need of a CASA volunteer due to circumstances beyond their control. CASA, which is court-appointed special advocates, are volunteers who represent the interests of minors in court proceedings, minors who may be abused or neglected at home. In tonight's feature story on a recent visit to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Kenzie English, a CASA volunteer coordinator, told host Dan Kuntz how the process works for prospective volunteers.
It starts with an application, and then we interview you, and it's different than maybe a job interview or a normal volunteer interview because this is a really tough job. it's emotionally draining, it can be physically draining, mentally draining, and so we want to make sure that you're ready for this position. And then if you're accepted to take the training, that's when it kind of all starts flowing. And it's a 34-hour training and then 4 hours of courtroom observation, just so you can get a feel for what goes on in the courtroom, because it is an entirely different world in there. And after that, if you complete the training, you're accepted, you've passed all of the background checks, then you have a final interview with Sue, and she is the one that says, yes, you are accepted as a volunteer, or let's wait a little bit. And once you're accepted, you're sworn in, and most of the time we have a case for you right away.
CASA is hosting an informational open house this Thursday night to be held at their offices on Douglas Street in Wenatchee, with the next training session set to begin on July 16th. You can find more information by visiting cdcasa.org. We'll be back with more news and your complete local weather forecast right after this.
At Local Myth Pizza, we believe in real food, freshly prepared with only premium ingredients. Our cheeses are imported from Italy. Our sauces, dressings, and even our sausages are made in-house fresh daily. Featuring Northwest craft beers and 30 Chelan Valley wines and ciders. Family fun and amazing food. Eat local, drink local, and be local at Local Myth Pizza.
Come see why Sunset Magazine says you can't beat Local Myth Pizza.
Tacos Chava has something new. Customers at Tacos Chava say it's the best Mexican food around. Nachos, enchiladas, tortas, ensaladas. And introducing camarones in many styles. You'll love the fresh salsa bar with so much selection. Are you ready for Tacos Chava? Find them at 2 great locations, the Wenatchee Valley Mall and Eniat. Tacos Chava, tan delicioso.
Welcome back to the NCW Life Evening News. It's been 3 years since the Sleepy Hollow fire ripped a devastating path through the Wenatchee community, destroying 30 foothill homes and several warehouse buildings. Yesterday in Chelan County Superior Court, the 39-year-old defendant in the case, Jeremy Kendall, stated to the court that he intended to plead guilty after it was ruled that he was mentally competent to stand trial. The court set a status hearing for July 2nd so Kendall's defense attorney can be present. Other dates have also been set for Kendall, a readiness hearing on July 23rd and a trial date for August 7th. Well, a resolution has also been reached in the case of Edward James Salvador. He's one of 5 suspects charged in an identity fraud conspiracy that allegedly stole mail around the Wenatchee Valley. Salvador allegedly opened fraudulent credit accounts at local stores, created and used false ID cards, and defrauded merchants by returning stolen goods for cash. He's been charged with 17 counts of unlawful fictitious identification, 12 counts of identity theft in the 2nd degree, 6 counts of possessing stolen property, and 5 counts of forgery. Even though a resolution was reached in Salvador's case, a plea wasn't entered, so a change of plea and sentencing hearing has been set for July 2nd. Well, the windstorm that lashed across the region early Monday morning caused a lot of damage, but no reported injuries at Alta Lake State Park. These images were shared on Alta Lake View HOA's Facebook page. The winds downed several trees, smashing into at least 2 vehicles. An RV was also damaged in the storm. The Special Olympics USA Games is coming to Seattle next week, and the Flame of Hope is coming through Wenatchee tomorrow. The relay begins tomorrow morning at Liberty Lake and winds its way through Spokane, Ephrata, Wenatchee, and Leavenworth on its first day. 47 law enforcement officers representing 47 states, along with 6 Special Olympics athletes, make up the prestigious final leg team for the 2018 Special Olympics USA Games Law Enforcement Torch Run. A brief ceremony will be held at Wenatchee's Centennial Park on Wenatchee Avenue tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock with our very own Eric Granstrom emceeing the event. You're invited to come down and cheer on law enforcement and Special Olympic athletes as they prepare for Sunday's opening ceremonies of the USA Games at Husky Stadium. Time now for a check of that north central Washington weather forecast. And let's take a look outside our weather window before we get to the details. And what a beautiful day it was today. Our fourth full day of summer now, and it sure felt like it out there today. It was gorgeous with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s and a little wind, and that's been nice because we have seen plenty of wind over the past week or two. Let's take a look at our surface loop now, and we'll take a look at cloudiness over the next few days because there's really not much to show you as far as storm system. Here we go at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Yeah, lots of sunshine. Most of the clouds off to the west into the Pacific. Some of those clouds will make their way into the inland northwest, especially in the afternoon tomorrow. Here's what our situation will be like at about 4 o'clock tomorrow. As we move into Thursday, pretty much the same thing, maybe even a little bit more cloudiness, and we will really transition into a pretty strong westerly flow by Thursday afternoon, and that could kick up some breezy winds, about 10 to 15 miles an hour, maybe gusts to around 20 on Thursday afternoon. By Friday, less wind. We'll also see less cloudiness as a lot of the rain associated with that storm system in the Pacific will kind of hop over the Wenatchee area, a rain shadow effect, and bring showers then to our east into Idaho and Montana. But things look awfully nice beginning Friday and working our way right through the upcoming weekend. Let's take a look now at your quick lube and tune forecast. Tonight, 55 degrees our overnight low. Not quite as cold as the 53 that we had this morning. Tomorrow, a lot like today, except a little breezier and a few more clouds for Wednesday. 77 your high. Even cooler on Thursday with even breezier winds. 74 the high on Thursday. Keep in mind that all the temperatures you see on that forecast map are either at or below normal for this time of year. Friday mostly sunny and 77. And look at the upcoming weekend. Saturday and Sunday, sunny both days. 80 on Saturday, 81 Sunday, kicking off our next work week, mostly sunny and 82. Well, we leave you tonight with something you don't see every day around the Wenatchee Valley. It's called Extreme Midget Wrestling, and it took place last night at the Eagles Club in Wenatchee. If you have a video of the day you'd like to see on the NCW Life Evening News, message us on our Facebook page at the NCW Life channel. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around north central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-6295. Also, keep it right here on the NCW Life channel tomorrow morning for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley with host Dan Kuntz and News with Steve Hare. Thanks for joining us and have a great night.
This is TV. This is TV Set Free. TV everywhere from Localtel sets you free to watch what you want, where you want. Catch your favorite networks, including live TV, ready to watch on any web-connected device for no extra charge. That's TV Set Free. Enjoy the extra value Localtel delivers with TV everywhere. Visit localtel.net and sign up today.
Lakeshland Mailboxes is a small place with a lot to offer. Job one is shipping and receiving from A to Z. They pack it, they label it, they ship it. But did you know we also offer notary service, online computer access, legal forms, copies, greeting cards, and of course, mailboxes. Schland Mailboxes, everything you need in one small package.